Today we are having an operations masterclass, and operations is one of the critical things for any business, whether micro, small, medium, or a large business. And we will be looking at how do we think differently about the interconnections in our business operations, and what tools can we use to ensure that we can constantly conduct audits, and that those audits will give us solutions that enable us to keep our businesses moving forward. So welcome to today's brief masterclass. We'll be talking about systems and operations. We are always fighting things as entrepreneurs, and why we called it from firefighting to flow, believe you me, this title came from the rest of the team. Why we call it from firefighting to flow is because of what we believe in as BSA. For the next 1.5 to 2 hours, we shall be discussing about operations, systems, and how we can identify problems that I don't want to say perennially disturb us, but problems that are always there, and a way that we can be able to solve them that is quick and fast, using systems thinking tools. And then after we have done all that, there's always that one thing that you can fix. That when you fix, everything else starts running. Then look at it from your own examples. I have given each of you a participant's guide. So before we leave here, we shall have sorted ourselves out. As we prepared to launch and to start supporting entrepreneurs, we ran a couple of surveys and we got some information back. And what happened is, like you've all rightly put it, sometimes programs not tailored to realities and what we can be able to do. And so what we do then as BSA is to make sure then we can support you to start, build, and grow successfully, so that eventually we are not looking at you as being a short-term business, but a long-term business legacy. Can we build this wealth across Africa and transfer? Each of you has a story to tell in your own respective businesses. How then can we better be able to help you? If you look at the stories that you've told me that when I've asked, those are the fires that we deal with almost on a daily basis. When Adrian was telling us about, I want a system, digital transformation. Can you imagine when you go to your bank and they tell you, we can't do this, we can't access this now? It will only happen the next day. The other time, a bank person sold to us a product very fast and told us from wherever you will be able to access the digital system. Woe unto us when we went up country and we didn't have all the money was in the account. We tried to transact. So when we called back, you know what they told us? Sorry, because it's your first time, you have to physically go to the branch. Branch from where we were was 40 kilometers away. Now, those are challenges that we face. Remember, we've already ordered for things that the supplier now starts looking at you and thinking, did you want to run away with my hay? Why are you telling me? And you've already packed the hay on the trucks, you know? Then access to markets. These two, access to market and access to capital, are things that entrepreneurs are always fighting with daily. So these are some of the challenges that we look at. And the most interesting thing is that despite all these things happening in our system, every day a new business is opening. Every day someone is registering an enterprise to start, despite all these situations. So what does that therefore mean? It means that we need to think differently how we want to structure our things and run. Now, the work of management, as you were saying, is there something? It has always been the same. What do? You plan. You do your strategic plan, you do your business plan, and then you organize yourself. Get your teams, then figure out if it's in terms of leading, like Paul was saying, communication is a problem. So if there's a communication breakdown, what happens? You can't move, you can't achieve your objectives. And then you control. And the reason why controlling is important is because this is the monitoring that we always do for our own selves. If we do not have these systems in place, then we are having problems. So the reason why we relate this to systems thinking is because these things are all connected. They are all connected. If one fails, it's just a matter of time before the others start giving you a problem. But if they all work, then they'll work well. And if they're having a challenge, then there's a way to rectify if something has gone wrong. So then how do we relate these to our business? Allow me to use the business model canvas as a way to just show you how your business activities are related. So let's just play it back and talk about systems thinking and why it's important. Your business is connected. There are times we don't think about it, but your business is connected. And why it's connected is, like we had earlier stated, you have to plan for it. You do your strategic plan, you do your business plan, you do your action plans, then you need to organize. What resources do you need to put together to be able to run? Then after you've put those resources together, you need to manage them. As Paul said, sometimes communication is a problem. I don't know if you saw even the other day with the government, the minister said one thing, then the permanent secretary came and said, this exercise needs to be repeated in totality. So there was an issue there between the two of them. Then lastly, controlling. And controlling is about monitoring. What you cannot measure will not grow and will not move forward. So that is why it leads us to the business model canvas. And I always love the business model canvas. It gives you your business in a snapshot. Now, how is this related to systems thinking? When we go out, or when you are starting, even for those who have not yet started their business, there is something you're promising your customer. What is that promise? If you take this juice done with the purest honey from Kakamega forest, you will lose all the weight you need in 2 months. It's something we've promised. Now, because we've told them that, we need to make sure that it is working. But then this value proposition, which is what we've promised the customer, has to relate with all the other things. Now, because we have that honey, how will it get to our customers who are trying to lose weight? We need to figure out how will it get to them. So how will we deliver this to them? Then how are they going to talk to us, those customers, right? And how are we going then to produce this honey so that it can get to these customers? So there'll be activities that we need to do, there are resources that we'll need to put together, and then there are partners who we will have to bring on board. Why systems thinking is important is if there is a breakdown. For example, remember the honey is coming from Kakamega. The customer is in Kitui. If this honey does not get to the customer on time, what happens? Breakdown. Customer looks for an alternative. Or if the supplier who supplies us with the containers has an issue, it will be a problem. The other day, one of our friends made us laugh that they normally take hibiscus tea. You know hibiscus tea, yeah? And this time round when they took the hibiscus tea, because it's normally packed in a container, and went home with it, it was tasting masala, like pilau, you know? So you can imagine you've put your hibiscus tea and it's tasting like masala. When they went back to find out where the challenge had been, the person who grinds for them the hibiscus tea did not clean the machine properly after grinding pilau masala. So they just did that, then took the hibiscus tea, put in, and it went. So those are the issues that happen. So it's very important that you understand all these things are interconnected. If I cannot talk to my customers, there is a problem. If they complain and I do not react, there is a problem. Because why is the customer complaining? Like we always say, a customer who complains is a customer to keep. It means there's something that is not working in the chain. So you can imagine if this customer complains and we've already made money from him, what will happen? If the customer asks for a refund, we have to give back the customer the refund. What happens to our cash? Our cash flow goes low. We have an issue. If we had considered that as a sale, it stops being a sale. So what happens with systems thinking is that there are then three critical things that we look at. The first one are the interconnections. Like I have said, how does communicating with my customer relate with the resources that I need to provide for them the honey that they want? Could be that when I am talking to the customer and asking the customer, do you like our services? And the customer says, maybe change packaging from 1 kg, have half kg, have quarter kg. It means I will have to, if I did not have that packaging, I have to come and look for the packaging. Because if the customer has already talked about it and then I don't do it, it's an issue. Let's play back to the masala hibiscus tea. If we come here and the machines are not cleaned, over time what happens is, these partners, the person who's supposed to grind, will make us lose our business. What happens to our customers? They move somewhere else. So that's why we say they are interconnected. Then the feedback loops. And the feedback loops is about communication. What is going right? What is going wrong? What can be changed? Now, if we do not appreciate feedback, we cannot grow. And feedback is important in operations. So there are three methods that are simple enough for SME owners. They are always in a rush. One is what is called the Iceberg Model. Second is the Causal Loops Diagrams, the one I was talking about, that we will connect. Why did tech fail? Then on the leverage points. Now that these are the issues that have happened, what is the fastest way to get us moving in another maybe like 18 or even by the next time we're having a meeting, can we try this again and see how it works out? Yeah. So when we look at the Iceberg Model, what happens is it shows you, like we always say, I don't know if you'll understand, kuficha white. Every business, like a house, there are secrets that you keep underneath, and there are things that even for companies, and no one ever sees. Then one day, boom, it explodes. Yeah. For example, there was a time one of the tier 2 banks, I'll not mention, everyone ran there because they were offering the best interest in the market. But underneath, things were simmering. And you see, what we were not noticing is that at that particular time, if you had a fixed deposit and you tried to cash it in, it was taking 2 months to liquidate your fixed deposit. You see, those are trends and patterns that we never bothered to pick. So coming back to our own businesses, events are what we can see. For example, customers complaining or customers giving you a very bad review on social media, or your staff waking up one morning and just not showing up. Now, sometimes in such circumstances, if your staff doesn't show up, what will we do? Be like, there are very many people who need a job. We disregard, and I'm like, okay, I'll change my keys, I'll just bring someone else to continue. We've not asked ourselves questions. Or, one thing that I've seen with some of the people selling thrift is mutumba. If you buy something and it's not working, what do they normally tell you? Let me refund you your money. But they're not asking themselves, I am still on digital platforms selling this product. Why do I have to keep on refunding? Now, sometimes we don't ask ourselves those questions. So we just see what is up. One of the ways to now start thinking further is to come down here and ask our patterns and trends. How many refunds have I done this month? How many customers have complained? And what are they complaining about? Remember the feedback loop? When we start getting that information, we start looking at our systems. Could be we are refunding because where our supplier is providing us the wrong equipment. We all use the food apps at times, right? Have you ever ordered for something, then it failed to come what you had ordered for? What do the restaurants normally do most circumstances? So when we are looking at Iceberg Model, then we also look at ourselves. How have we structured our businesses? I'll give you a personal example. At some point, I was supplying gas. And as I was supplying gas, my work was to go knock the restaurants, make sure the gas is delivered, and it's okay. Now, the restaurant started complaining. Oh, the gas is not making the meals it's supposed to. So if it's 50 kg, yes, they've calculated even energy and they say this is what has happened, then you're not. So initially, we were not bothered because we were selling. And so we'd be like, okay, maybe the valve had a problem, maybe gas leaked by the time it got to you. Now, here, what we'll do, we'll tell you, so okay, we calculate 50 kg, we'll give you a small cylinder of 13 kg. You see, we've not dealt with the problem. But over time, the issue is still persisting. Now, when we started sitting and asking ourselves, why is it that gas going to this particular restaurant is having a challenge? Or why is it when the truck leaves here to go to Naivasha to deliver bulk, by the time it's getting to Naivasha, it has lost 500 kgs of gas? Does the tank have a problem? What is the challenge? Now, when we looked at how we were structured, we realized here, because we trusted the depot, we know by the time the gas has left, you guys have CCTV and you've structures and you've put the seal. We never bothered, only to realize that this is where it was failing us. The structure was failing us in terms of there was no one to do proper control. Yes, they've put the seal, but they were colluding. So they don't put the seal completely. It's left in a way that someone can tamper with it. Now, when we applied this, we were able to see, oh, this is the challenge, and this is what we need to do. And then the biggest challenge of all was what we call our mental models. And our mental models are the beliefs that we have. When we went for training, we were told fuel evaporates, right? So if fuel evaporates, it also means gas evaporates. But now the question was, between Nairobi and Naivasha, 500 kgs of gas just evaporated from a tank that is sealed, asking ourselves those questions. So it's very important when we are looking at this to see, and why are mental models important? This is our belief system. Those things that we put in our head and we say, this is how things will be. For example, in that one for Bolt, maybe they are always saying, customers will always complain, which is attitude that some people have. And if the customer complains, what's the action? You refund them their money and that story is finished. Don't disturb me again. Then eventually we shall say, business is hard. But why did you start that business from the word go? And what can you be able to change about it? Now, this is very important because if we cannot change our mindset, then we cannot sort out the problems we are having.
It's interesting. I was supplying chicken, and I would buy chicken from my poultry farmers. And sometimes there is this belief that as long as the farmer gets the chicken to the market and they transact,
That's it.
Now, one to us, we've been picking 2 tons of chicken, and sometimes you're doing it at night at 3 a.m. And you start now getting the chicken ready. This chicken came packed in sacks. So we have in one sack, we have about 60 pieces. This chicken was slaughtered in the night. So it has been bleeding on the floor as the process of slaughtering the chicken would be getting it into really hot water. You defeather, and then you remove the intestines, and then you leave it to cool down enough for then transportation in the morning. So the farmer has been focused on getting you the chicken because you want the chicken.
You want the chicken.
And their business ends with the point of delivering this chicken to you and getting the payment. But my business starts at the point of collecting the chicken and now starting to remove it from the bags, cutting it up into pieces and delivering it to the customer. So shock on you, you find the chicken that they started with was packed at say 7 p.m. the previous night, and the last chicken they slaughtered was packed close to 4 a.m. But there was no system of sorting which came fast. So you now start unpacking the bags and you realize, oh, you paid for kilos, but then the rot that is inside the bags is much more. And now you start counting your losses right from the point of collecting. Now, if you're dealing with 2 tons of chicken every morning, there is a customer who is waiting for 100 kilos of, say, boneless, of wings, of these other things. And their promise to their customer is the freshest chicken. And maybe the yummiest chicken. And then consistency. Let's take, for instance, Paul's Cafe at the airport. So the type of even clientele this particular company is, serving is a very interesting clientele. So then you find that because the belief for the farmer is that I just need to do whatever I need to do to get you the chicken and I'm done, and they don't see the end result is that person who will go to buy that chicken and consume it. What happens was the more we supplied, the more hotels kept losing customers. And the more the business went going down, and the more the demand started going down. But we're not treating the problem, which starts right at the source. But for that particular farmer, is that honey farmer who paused because you asked for chicken, I delivered chicken. When I delivered the chicken, it was relatively okay. But by the time I'm taking the chicken in from 5 to 10 a.m. when it gets to that hotel, it's already spoiled. Now, the scientific and the training element was that chicken, upon cutting, upon slaughtering, it shouldn't last more than 20 minutes in the open air. So this chicken was already spoiled from the source.
Oh.
It decomposed and it was. So I see how then that continued that generational belief.
Yes.
That for as long as I am just getting to the market, I don't care about the next. You then end up, for me, as long as I'm getting cheapest from the farmer, I don't care about the rest. For that hotel, as long as I'm getting my 100 kilos in time, I don't care about the rest. But in the long run, this entire system crumbles.
Yes.
I think, sorry, just to add a specific example,
Yeah.
is I think what you're saying also is you're talking of, there's a business, the operation systems intra-company within the different functions, yeah?
Yes.
And then you're talking now between 2 separate businesses.
Entities, yes.
And, just to give you an example, let's say now in the chemical business. So what happens is we pride ourselves in supplying quality products to the customer, yeah? And the only way we can do that is to ensure that our supplier, because we're just a distributor, has the right quality systems. It's ISO, it has all the. So what it happens is I have that peace of mind knowing. Then the other option is for me to know, okay, this is citric acid. but I just pick from anyone. I don't care about the ISO. I don't care about, So now that exposes a big risk. Yeah. So that's also the other thing. A chemical is a chemical. You know what I mean? Yeah? And then you find yourself always firefighting because the customer keeps on complaining.
Yeah.
So there's just So I think it is that between businesses and also within. Yeah.
I want you to think of a recent problem that you've experienced in business or event. Write it down. Then ask yourself, how many times has it happened in the last 3 months? Is it a pattern? Is it one-off? Then, what structures are making that pattern happen? Is it the delivery system that is wrong? Is it the suppliers who are not, like in Gitao's case when he was telling us, they put the last chicken, the chicken slaughtered a long time ago? Yeah. Yes. What could be causing this pattern? Then what is your belief about that? Is it the customer is right? Or is it how things should always be done? What mental model are you holding about that? Sometimes we are so ingrained in our own issues. Good. As we respond, allow me to, this one for mental model, play it back with the taxi guys. Remember the old taxi guys who used to be there? And when the apps came and they were the first ones approached, they said that this thing will not last for 3 months. Why? It will fail and people will always take taxis. Now they were forced to change from here to airport used to be like 4,000 bob. Now even for 800 or 700 shillings, you'll get a taxi to take you to the airport. Now those who've been stuck in this are still stuck because they think one day technology will fail. But those who are able to shift their mindset and know we are moving with the times have been able to move forward. I would love us to share our answers.
We've been churning supervisors like, turning pages, and it's actually a pattern. And when I look at it, it's all because not of the structures that might be causing this pattern, but actually the lack of structures. Because again, the key founder of the business, with the rest of us being partners, is the owner of institutional memory. Everything belongs to them, all the structures. Everything. He owns customer, suppliers, logistics, everything. And the mental model that now I am identifying that has been the biggest problem is just, holding on to trust, holding on to this information. The training is more of on the job. You come and plug into the job and you'll figure out as you go. But then, because why? The founder is the key founder is very busy running around. So there's no time to actually just sit down and groom a person. So then this habit of employing relatives, or because you think that, again, boils down to trust. I think people employ relatives because you think that's the person that you can trust and they can be able to represent your interest. But actually, simply because they're your relative, they will not necessarily, and if you do not equip them, then it's a problem. So that I see as a big problem.
It's like delivery. You always don't beat the deadline. The deadline comes before you. So it's like you're always in a hurry to fulfill orders. And now you have to call maybe the person you're supplying to, your customers, and telling them, just give me a day. Or there's just something that happened, but tomorrow morning. Yeah. And then, so it has been a pattern. And then now the causes, or what maybe might be leading to this is the system. Now from the collection, because now you have to, it's a processing plant, agribusiness. So there is a point you need to collect from the farmers, and then now there is a processing bit of it, and then from there now you package. And now the belief is we are being failed by the machines.
Mhm.
So if I had better equipment, then I wouldn't have the delays in producing and meeting the delivery quotas. So that's why now I have to ask for an extension so that I can meet the delivery quotas. But okay, I still have that belief if I had better machines, then things will get better. But I think if now I can work with what I have currently, maybe plan my collections better from the farmers, maybe add a shift or two on the processing, so that now I can work with what I have currently as I plan maybe to upgrade the machines that I have.
So ours is like customers not trusting the source or quality of water. I'm saying it that way because we're doing like a water delivery business. But you know how you think, okay, you have water, like if I don't see like kebs here, I won't feel like it's not like bad water, because my belief is that if water looks clean and tastes good, like it's okay, right? But I think when now we're trying to do free, marketing, and you go to like institutions for like tenders or even just individuals, they're like, especially when I guess it's in a bottle, they're like, oh, there's no like KEBS symbol or something. And it seems that what I'm learning is the labels from KEBS is a sign of like maybe safety or security, or people have that belief, so maybe just trying to adjust to what the customer wants, especially if they're willing to pay and not feel that it's just water, so yeah, that's just something I'm learning.
So the event is basically a situation where we've just to give you a bit of background, feel very confident about the products, good quality, good client base or deliveries, and you have a few customers complaining about, especially in the food, which is a bit more sensitive, and it's a yogurt, dairy, and they're finding one of the ingredients, which is a starch product, has a bit of an off flavor. So this is a complaint. A customer says, what's going on? It's not, and my finished product, there's a bit of an off flavor. There's something wrong with your product. So of course, the first thing is to defend and say, no, we've been doing this for donkey years. Products we supply everybody. Yeah. So and then unfortunately forms a pattern in terms of becoming a bit more regular, a few times in that 3 months. And unfortunately, that became a bit of a costly thing, in the sense that a clear separation of products has to happen. So, and what happened was the fragrance was actually used to be delivered in 25 kilo cans, well sealed, original, but because of a new opportunity to repack, so the packaging was not very well done. So it had to be repacked in a kind of local container, 5-liter. So there's a bit of a leakage, so that caused some problem. So for me, mental model, just those assumptions that probably at that level of the drivers, just let's deliver as quickly as possible, but of course had an impact.
Wow, thank you for participating in the exercise. I am hoping that by the time we are done, we will have gotten better solutions to some of those beliefs. If I go back to my gas story, here, the mental model that is keeping me from reopening the retail shops is they will steal from me. So I'm not opening, and I've gotten dealerships. So I have to overcome this, and I'm figuring out, can I use technology, or can I bring in other people to help me manage the process? I get the orders and they get to do it. The second point is relating things. So for example, that's what we call the Causal Loops diagram. What do we want to do as a business is to make sure that we are having sales, continuous sales. Now, we have two options. When we get this and we have better service, it will bring back our sales growth and it will grow, right? Same time, when we are having sales growth, complaints will be there. But if we don't deal with those complaints, our sales growth will go negative. Yeah. Okay? But there's a solution to that. Our end goal is that our customer is satisfied. The chemicals get there on time, the delivery is done on time, people get the better tasting water. I would like to taste that water. And the chicken gets to the hotels in the right way. It's customer satisfaction. So for us to achieve that, then we have to ensure that we are resolving our complaints. So we are going to draw a causal loop on one of the challenges that we've talked about. So when you look at this way, then relate it back to your mental model, then you see what are the things that I need to do. I need to grow my sales. For me to grow my sales, I must make sure that I'm offering better service. Why? If my customer is satisfied, I am happy. This will loop back to, there's another arrow again, loop back to more sales growth. But if I'm growing and there are complaints and they are never resolved, then we are going to have an issue. And you see now when you get more complaints, what happens? Your sales keep on dropping. And what we would like is more sales because our customer is happy and satisfied. So it's very important for us to always remember that. However you put your systems, whether it is delivery, whether it is the partners that you're bringing on board, whether it is staff, then that they are aligned to ensure that you are growing. If they are not satisfied, trouble. We have to meet the expectations. Yes, Gital, something has come to mind.
The customer complaints have now become too much. And you have to address. And in your case, you talked about customers, yes, you're selling, but more and more customers are complaining that the gas arrives half full.
Half full, yes.
So what do you do?
So let me go back to here. Then I'll go back to the business model canvas. So one of the things that we had to do, and here there's a guy pushing and there's a guy who has a lever, is what is that one change that you can effect that will cause everything else to change? In our situation, we could not be the truck drivers driving the bulk truck to go deliver the gas because we were knocking the doors to look for orders. We could drive the pickups with the 50 kg gas cylinders to go and deliver to the restaurants and industries, but then who would do the business development work? Who would do the admin work? So one of the things that we needed to change was how we are operating. So this is what we did. We gave them shares. We told them, now you have worked with us. We have decided that we are going to make you shareholders of the company. No, that's my example. You can do things differently. Now, because you are shareholders of the company, we have to bear this burden together. They were very excited. Then they were like, oh, finally, we are going to be part of your company. But this is where the responsibility came in. So when we did that, we subdivided our distribution. We said, Kitao, this region is now under you. If we don't make money, it is. Faisal, this region is under you. If we don't make money, it is you. Come and ask us to go and pay the fuel companies. So what happened? Because now they had to be in charge, they became more cautious about what was going on. They had the incentive to make sure things were happening. And then the most interesting thing, the guy who was the ringleader, his region had the most sales, but his region had the most fraud. So he came back down and sat with us and was like, hey, I am sorry. I should have stopped these things that time when I was with you. So when that shifted, their mentality also shifted. And eventually when we had to ease off the gas distribution business, we sold the rest of the operations to them. Some of them are still going on with it. The ones who did not take heed as we were teaching them, then had to stop.
sort of an incentive to you for the lack of the headache. I'd like to know how you structured the incentive.
Rightly put it. We had to do a cost-benefit analysis. And after doing the cost-benefit analysis, then figured out and got a professional. This is the challenge we're having. We would like to float these shares to these 6 individuals. How do we still maintain controlling stake, but they come on board? Now they became part of the company. So it's very important for you to don't lose control, but it depends on what it is you're doing. For us, it was a way, when we write a business plan, we normally write entry strategy and then exit strategy. So our exit strategy eventually was to hand over the distribution to them, because we had promised our customers that you will never fail to get gas. So even if you called us at 10 p.m., gas will be delivered to you.
There is also this element of are people against me? Now, or the question now is, as the owner, do you think there is anyone else who has in their interest to make the business succeed more than you? Because I'll start a business and I'll have to employ people, but now, can I trust them to maybe make the business reach the expectations that I have? Or now do I have to be there? Even as you're saying, he was thinking, do I even do the farming myself, set up a slaughterhouse? Because now people are failing me. So can it reach a point where, or do we have to maybe live with the fact that I'm the only one who really wants?
Must
Yeah.
do.
And it comes at a cost as well.
Comes at a cost.
Even what you said, the example, you give them shares, and now things changed. So giving them that ownership, now they were like owners of the business, now things are working well. So how do we have to live with that fact, or now we find a way now to, what you are saying about shopkeepers, lazima tu ni hiyo. So do we now do a cost benefit? At least I know something will be stolen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So it's a tricky question, but one of the things we need to do is just be able to develop systems ourselves as customers. As owners of businesses. Playing back to our gas situation, when we did an audit, because we had to sit down with a coach because it was breaking our friendship. One of the audit things we were asked a very interesting question. When you employed these people, what happened? We gave them letters. Did you talk to them? We inducted them. What was the induction? Mission, vision, goals, targets. You get? And like you, some of those guys, other than the regional, like the guys who were in charge of distribution, we never met some of those boys. You see, 10 o'clock when the call is made and gas is rushed to a restaurant, I wouldn't even know about it until morning, because that time we didn't even have apps. So in the morning is when you will see on the Google Drive the sales were done. I don't even know who had the pickup at night. But maybe what if we had invested more in understanding them and talking to them and letting them understand and know where we are? Because again, one of the biggest challenges we have is that anyone working for you here believes they are making you wealthy. Okay. So it's important to go beyond the event. And one of the things you need to do with systems is to document. Document occurrences, document patterns, whether it's digital or you'll record in that black book, like the OB for the police. Document. Because when you document, then it will enable you to be able to map out what are these challenges that I'm having and what could be possible solutions for them. And if I do not solve these problems, where will I end up? Now, when you do that, you'll come back and find your leverage point. What is the one thing I can change that would resolve all these problems? Not many things, just one thing. Start it from there and run. And then always remember, your mindset is very important. Mindset is very important. And as I wrap this up, I wrap it up with my example. I like giving my example. Scale came too fast, and we were not ready for scale. So even when challenges were happening, we were not documenting. What if we had documented? But those, exactly, would have seen the bottlenecks. But that does not stop us from continuing to serve entrepreneurs every day. With the lessons and experiences learned, then we come now here and come and pass them forward.
My name is Virginia Kihoro. I'm a co-founder of Sanjin Limited, an agri-processing firm. And today I plugged into the BSA mastermind on systems thinking. It was a very interactive session led by an amazing coach, Coach Joe. And I mean, my biggest take home from this session was that in the same way we go to great depths to discover our client, we also need to do the same for HR. It has just been a profound moment realizing that HR is an amazing catalyst for business, and if you don't get your HR right, then everything else falls apart. Yeah, so thank you, BSA, and I certainly look forward to more masterminds in future. Thank you.
Really being part of the BSA Entrepreneur Hub has been a joy. It's been very informative. We've discussed various topics of interest, and entrepreneurship is something I'm passionate about, and I really enjoyed the interactive nature of the class, the presentation, very clear, involved everybody, and really allowed me also to just get some new information, think along things like system thinking and how to solve business problems. I think with the master classes, getting experienced instructors, I think just discussing real life business stories and really which is relatable will definitely enable, and also just a kind of an organized thinking around solving business problems and understanding the various business models. I think this is definitely a masterclass will help you unravel a lot of issues and also prepare you better to be able to develop a better and more resilient business.
We are all about creating moments, and the moment that we've just had is a masterclass. And what are these masterclasses? Think of yourself. You've been in corporate for too long. You've seen and reasoned through the bureaucracies of a corporate organization. You've seen what scale looks like. You've also seen and learned what not to do if you were to redo it again. But there are so many people who are building small businesses across Africa. They have not had a chance to get into corporate. They don't know about the culture. They don't even know about what gets things done. How do people work together? How do they collaborate? How do you build systems that scale? And so we thought, how about we invite you to come be part of our masterclass as a subject matter expert, while you're also trying to shift from your career trajectory into possibly becoming a coach and transitioning to actually generate a new revenue stream over and above what you build as a business. And so that's what the BSA masterclasses are all about. And so here is a call to action. Please, if you feel that you have a story to share with us, come and let's tell the story with you. But while there, let's also turn your ideas, let's package that knowledge into something that can turn into a revenue stream for you. If you think that this is right for you, hello@bsa is the email to write to.
What an afternoon to have spent time in a room full of entrepreneurs discussing issues to do with operations. I loved and enjoyed the masterclass, and I learned even as I facilitated. Thank you. Looking forward to catching you in our next masterclass.